Okay. Just give it a moment. I know it is early. I know it is early, but I'm still going to drop this here this morning for reflections. Happy Tuesday. Hey, Ansel, you're faithful. Girl, you are faithful. Okay. Hello, Violet. Hello, Grand Risings to all of you. Okay. So, I just wanted to give y'all something. Y'all are up early, Michelle. Hey, Treya. All gravy. Okay. Kevin. Hey, Bestie Friendy Fool. B. Chan. Okay. We are here. We are here. And we don't need a lot of people to be here. Okay. But go ahead. Share the video because it's going to be quick, good information. Right? Congratulations and thank you for supporting me. I love the money shower. Some people buy it just for the smell, which is damn good if you're gonna pay $30 just for smell body wash. Okay, so it smells good, but also you're about to get so much more. The good energy that comes with it is really the kicker. So let's just get right into this because it's early. Okay, I have a spa day planned for myself, so bitch finna be out the house. But I wanted to talk to y'all about something very crucial, and sometimes it is the missing and the key component. And when we talk about manifestation, or when we talk about bringing forth our desires, our wants, or producing and creating the situations that we want to see for ourselves, decisiveness. Decisiveness is a very big key factor in manifestation, and I'm going to explain why. We talk about law of attraction. We talk about the universe giving you feedback when you have a dominant frequency. Now, I'm going to explain what I mean by dominant frequency because we always have several thoughts. But there's always, or should be, one thought that holds precedence. And the universe is going to respond mostly to that dominant thought. Now, when we say that we want something and we think about it so much, we're presented with feedback that is a reflection of that thought process. So I like to give really basic analogies so that we can understand the concept and then go further with it. When you say that you want another job, you say that you want another job, you begin to focus on wanting another job. You begin to meditate on wanting another job. Yes, Nicole. You begin to meditate and focus on wanting another job. So then your actions begin to follow that, right? And then maybe also you begin to see signs of that. You begin to see more help wanted signs, or you begin to see more ads, or you begin to see more evidence of even the job maybe that you were thinking about. Because the universe is now giving you feedback to that dominant thought that you're having. So your form and your actions and everything else around you is coming together to conspire with you to create and manifest that thought process. And it is our job, because the universe is only going to give us the feedback, but it is our job to put those pieces together uniquely as we see fit, whatever we want to do with it, but we have to put those pieces together. Now, when you're thinking about that job, now you're seeing all this evidence, and so you put it in applications, and then eventually, in a sense, you're creating your own luck because you're aligning with what's being given to you. Because of that dominant energy, that dominant frequency, that dominant thought process that you begin to culminate for yourself. Now, there's something else that happens because, again, the universe is only giving us feedback at any given time. It's only giving us feedback, and it is up to us to put together the pieces. But what happens when you are not decisive? What happens when you are not decisive? What does that look like as far as your manifestation is concerned? It's going to look not congruent. It's going to look a little bit all over the place. It's going to look like you're getting feedback from a lot of different things, and you're probably quite unsure about the direction that you want to go in. When we're indecisive, There is no dominant frequency, no dominant thought process to override all the other thought processes. So you're not getting feedback in one particular theme, one particular thought. So it doesn't seem so obvious. A lot of the times when we get all these blaring signs and it seems so obvious, is because our frequency, our subconscious mind is producing this one thought. So everything seems to flow with that one thought. But when we're indecisive, it's a lot of everything. A lot of different opportunities, a lot of different signs, a lot of different things, because the universe is giving you feedback from almost every thought that you're having. I myself can tell you that I feel that way a lot, because I'm always thinking about different directions to go in. So the universe is always going to be giving me feedback from all the different directions I can go in. But I can tell you, what's happening is you're being asked to make a choice. You're being asked to first make a decision. And then that way, all the other feedback that you begin to receive is clearer and on point with the thing that you have decided to manifest. Now, this is why it's very important to understand that there is no such thing as quote unquote right and wrong paths. Because it's all experimentation to figure out the best result. Let's say you have 3 different ideas and you're unsure about the direction that you want to go in. And the universe is giving you feedback for all 3 ideas. So it's not making it any easier, because it's not, because you are the control board. You are in all situations are the control board. So I will say, pick a thought. Pick a thought. Just pick a thought. So let's say out of the 3 options you have, let's say you're going to focus on this one particular option, okay? Now, the universe is going to begin to send you clearer feedback, because now you've made a decision. Your mind has made a decision, so now your action should also be following along with that decision in a straight line, because a lot of things are linear. When you begin to see the evidence of the decision that you made, because we'll always see the evidence of the decisions that we make. We will always see the evidence of our thought process. We will always see the evidence, because the universe is going to give it back to us so that we can experience it. Experiences are guidelines. We're being shown through evidence whether or not we would like to go through with a manifestation, because we have to figure out if what we're manifesting or what we're bringing to fruition is best for us. So when we begin to pick that one thought and we begin to get the evidence of what that thought would look like for us, then we have more to make the decision about whether or not we would like to continue down that path. So if you have 3 choices, pick something, pick one. Don't overthink it, because that's where a lot of us get stuck. We get stuck in the thought process. We get stuck in the overthinking it, and then we never do anything at all, and we'll just be at a standstill like this, when something just comes at us, because it's chaotic. So pick a thought. The universe is going to give you feedback on that thought. The universe is going to give you feedback and evidence about what that manifestation would look like for you. And when you begin to see the evidence of it, it is up to you to look at those pieces and dissect and ask yourself, is this the evidence? Is this the manifestation that I really want to bring forward to myself? Everything in life is trial and error to bring you closer to what you desire most, to what feels best for you. This is all an experience to bring you closer to wherever it is, or to whatever it is that you're supposed to experience. Free will is a very fickle thing for human beings. Because we have this thing about attaching ourselves to quote unquote failures, or quote unquote what we deem to be negative feedback from the universe. What I say is, we can't praise source, we can't thank God, we can't thank ourselves for free will if in the same breath we're going to condemn God, source, or universe for giving you the consequences of our free will. The consequences are contrast. Contrast is going to show you whether or not you want to go left instead of going right. Contrast is seeing there's a pack of wild dogs if you turn down this street, but seeing that it's pretty sunny on the other street with no obstacles. Okay? That is what contrast is. Contrast is also saying, because it's pointing you in a clear direction. Contrast is also saying, and accepting of free will is also saying that if you're adventurous and for whatever reason you decide to still go down the street with a pack of wild rabid dogs and you get bit, you cannot blame source that you got bit and call it bad luck or a bad day or anything like that. You just have to accept that it is contrast and consequence from going in a direction that maybe didn't present the best evidence to you. Because that's really what it is. You're always being presented with evidence. You're always being presented with something for you to look at so that you are best able to make a choice and decision. And you'll always have that evidence. But if you're in a period of your life where you feel like there's so many things, there's so many options, nothing is clear to you, then there is a time when we require stillness. Stillness, make a choice, move forward. And if you begin to get evidence from something and a choice and decision that you make that you're not quite fond of, stillness again, there is no such thing as going back, but you can push the reset button and you make a new decision. You are able to wipe the slate clean if you're mentally prepared to say that I forgive myself for whatever the fuck this was. I didn't like the evidence of that decision. I might not have liked the consequences of that decision, but now it's time for me to make a new decision. But if you're constantly dwelling on the way that things turned out when you made a particular decision, you're going to take a long time to make another decision that could very well be the next most beneficial decision that you have to make. Oftentimes, the universe is just asking us to go in a direction and everything else will fall in line. Sometimes we find ourselves waiting for a sign, waiting for the most divine moment, waiting for this, waiting for the circumstances to be right, waiting for the wind to blow from the west and fall over the east. And a lot of these times, these fucking situations that we just make up in our minds that we're waiting on to make a decision are not going to present themselves, because what the universe, what source, what God, what spirit, whatever the fuck you believe in is waiting for is for you to act first so that then they can bless your steps. So that's the message for the morning. Act first. Analyze the evidence that the universe gives you as feedback, as consequence. And if they're favorable and you like it, then keep going down that path of action, that path of thought. Okay? But if you don't like it, that's okay. It's not a failure. It's contrast. It's telling you that this isn't really what I like. How else do you figure out what you like and don't like? Unless you try things to figure out that you like or don't like them. It's the same thing as when we're kids growing up and you have to change and try all these different foods. And you don't figure out that you don't like something in particular until you put it in your mouth and you get the taste of it, and either you're absolutely repulsed by it, you're indifferent towards it, or you want more of it. And much of life follows the same concept of experimentation, absorbing it, either choosing to digest it or choosing to spit it back out and never having that experience again. But I guarantee you that when you start making some footsteps in one particular direction, you'll see things will begin to move. If you're experiencing stagnancy in your life, it is because you are stagnant. And a lot of the times the stagnancy is fear, because you're afraid you're going to make the wrong choice. You're afraid you're going to make the wrong decision. You're afraid that you're going to set yourself back, and it's never a setback. It's only an experiment to figure out if this was the direction that you were supposed to go in. But experimentation is a lot better than stagnancy, because experimentation is giving you material for growth. Stagnancy is not going to grow you. It is not going to change your position. So I'll give you an example. For me, I had to figure that out because I was like, what am I doing? Where do I want to go? So I was starting to get all these things. I was like, do I want to slow down running my business? Do I just want to like delve into entertainment opportunities? And all of a sudden, I was getting all of these opportunities that were not cohesive. And the opportunities were still showing me that I had to make a choice and decision. There was not going to be a perfect moment or alignment or something that happened that just made me go, aha, this is it. It was asking me to make a choice. I'm being asked to make a choice. I'm being asked, where do I want to go? And then just say that that's where I want to go. And then everything else for where I want to go follows. But sometimes the universe will also show you that maybe that's not the best thing. Again, like I said, just looking at the feedback and the consequences will show you whether or not that is what is in alignment for you. I had to figure out where I was going to move. And right now I'm in the experimentation process, but I've removed the stagnancy. And so for months I was looking at Florida. I was seeing houses in Florida. I was applying to properties in Florida. I was doing all these things. I was getting acceptance. But then when I would go view the properties, it was something horribly fucked up with them. Or there was something with the landowners. Or it was just something and something and something. But I had put all of my energy in one direction. And I was getting feedback for that one direction. So the universe was attempting to conspire with me. But also the universe was showing me that that wasn't where I was supposed to be at the time. And it was showing me that through every single last thing that continued to fall through. Now, if you're a person that is out of spiritual alignment, you may be very discouraged by something like that. But it's not a matter of discouraging. It's a matter of, one, analyzing what just happened. One, you should be proud of yourself because you made a decision, and you made such a decision that all of the information you were getting, all of the feedback was about this decision that you made. And you found things, and you found the evidence, and the evidence was presented to you. So that's a good thing. But then now the universe is asking you to make a decision based upon the evidence that you were given. And that evidence for me said that wasn't the direction that I was meant to go in at that point in time. So then the universe says, God says, self says, God say, ancestors say, now with what we've just presented you, with the contrast that we've just given you, what we've just shown you, now it's time for you to make a new decision. So make a new decision. And use the information that you just received from your last decision, from your last experiment, to make this one more efficient. Because life is about efficiency. Everything around us shows us that it's about efficiency. We have to do things. In science, we do them over and over again. You trust scientists to procure you medicine, but you don't trust yourselves to procure yourself results. That's scary. Because it's the same thing that happens when you have a scientific method as you do when you have to apply it to your own life. There's always going to be factors. There's going to be variables. And a lot of the times they're going to be tests. But you have to understand that you are the person in charge of the test. You are the control board for the tests. When you forget how powerful you are, then you also forget that you are in control of the things that the universe is sending you back from your subconscious mind. So then we begin to disconnect the things in our circumstances around us from ourselves, and then we play victim to them, rather than connecting our oh so powerful mind and understanding that at any given time, the condition of our thoughts, the condition of our subconscious mind, the things that we are feeding our subconscious mind are then being amplified and projected into this interactive realm around us. So you're so powerful that you're projecting even when you don't realize that you're projecting. The problem is that we forget that we're powerful. So then we forget that what we're experiencing is just evidence of ourself. So when you're not particularly happy with the evidence, it's time to analyze the subconscious. It's time to analyze your thought process. It's time to analyze what you believe in your life to be a limitation to you, what you believe you are capable of, what you believe you are not capable of. Because all of these places, all of these things, all of these thought processes, all of these behaviors are what you are programming the universe with to project back to you. When you take control of that, You then take control of your projections. You then take control of the circumstances and the situations that's happening around you so that you can begin to make decisions that are more efficient. And if you'd like, we can use the word better. But better is a fickle word as well. Okay, so quick message, right? And an easy reminder to just make a decision. And it doesn't have to be permanent. You're making the decision so that your energy can flow into one direction instead of all these different directions. Like it looks like a stream, right? If you could imagine a stream. But you want to get all of that water flowing to one body, so you have to block off all of the other ways that the water could flow. Because your thought process, your energy has to be directional so that it has some place to land, so it has some place to give you feedback. So don't be afraid of what choices you may make. There is no such thing, quote unquote, necessarily as failures. They're just consequences showing you what's favorable and unfavorable to you. And you don't figure that out until you experience it. Right? You don't know that you don't like getting drunk until one day you get shit-faced. You get the feedback of a hangover. And then you make the decision to never do that shit again. And it wasn't a failure. It wasn't a failure. It was an experiment to figure out that was a thing that just particularly wasn't for you. And that goes for everything else. Like you may have made the decision to have one particular vocation or job, right? And you go into it and you were like, you know what? I'm going to be a writer. And then you're writing and you're writing and you're writing and you're spending months writing and you feel unfulfilled and you feel like you want to be moving. You see someone dance and then all of a sudden there's this spark and you're like, whoa, maybe that's the spark I've been missing. And you can honor yourself for putting effort into something. You can honor yourself for putting your energy and your intention into something. And then you honor yourself for analyzing the feedback and understanding and realizing that maybe it's not what you want to do. Or maybe it's not for you. Or maybe it's not fulfilling to your spirit or whatever it is. And then you honor yourself again by trying something new. All of this is trial and error until it is not. And all of it will always be practice. Because there is no one walking the face of the earth that has completely mastered living, that has completely mastered life. So even for what you consider and look at to be the most well-adjusted person, there is still room for that person, for that spirit, for that entity, for that energy to grow, to expand. Because we live in an expansive, infinite universe, multiverse. So what that means for us is there's also room for us to infinitely expand. The problem is society, even ourselves, puts a measure to this process. And we have this destination addiction where we say we're going to become masters of piano right now. But even the most historically proclaimed and profound pianists have messed up, have made mistakes, and still don't know everything. But also the wisest person will tell you that there is still more to learn. In any profession, in any skill. And as a human being, if you ignorantly say that you learn it all, and you know it all, I guarantee you, you will be shown in some way, shape, form, or fashion that you do not. Okay? The heart surgeon is really good at what he or she does, or what they do. But the heart surgeon also knows that at any given moment there is a situation that could present itself that you don't know that much about, or you're not that skilled in. So even what you consider skillful people, well-adjusted people, are still learning. And that is the beauty of everything, because life is just an infinite learning lesson of expansion, and we take it into the next life and we roll it over, and all of this knowledge is applicable later whether we remember it or not. But if we weren't still learning, we wouldn't be here. So if you see me, I'm still learning. If I see you, you're still learning. And when we don't see each other anymore, that means we are done with this particular learning lesson in this realm, in this division, and we pass on to something new. We don't die, we just pass on to something new with new learning lessons. So get rid of the idea that you're going to get someplace, and that is going to be the place that you're going to stay for the rest of your life happily. Or get rid of the idea that there's this destination, this magical destination that you're going to get to in your journey, where all of a sudden you're so fucking enlightened, you float all the time, and you know, you're just beaming from your forehead and your heart like a Care Bear, and then you ascend like Christ. That is not for us in this lifetime. And that is okay. And when you remove that pressure, life becomes more enjoyable. Life becomes more enjoyable when you realize that it is a matter of collecting experiences. It's taste testing. Life is taste testing. That's basically what it is. And when you remove the pressure of feeling like you have to be somewhere or be something within this lifetime, and that you have to put a time limit on which you can achieve this thing, because what happens after you achieve it? What if what if your lifetime, your limited lifetime perspective just says, I want to make $500,000, and then what happens when you make $500,000? Is your life now without purpose? The only purpose you served in life was to collect tokens? Because that's the fucking equivalent of what it is. You don't exist to just fucking collect tokens and be like, oh, my bank is full. There's something more meaningful happening than collecting physical things. There's something more meaningful happening than even making or reaching physical milestones or markers. It's a fleeting feeling, because when you get there, you realize that subconsciously and on a soul level, it's going to be a craving for something else. Don't become your goalposts, because that's not the point of your existence. The point of your existence is not to just acquire a job and collect tokens. Okay? But what is fulfilling to our existence, and that you will find that will carry you through life, no matter what your circumstances may be, is when you have a fulfillment of self. When you've experienced so much, you have a confidence in whatever it is that you decide to do. That's priceless. That feels a lot better than collecting tokens. Having a confidence in yourself, having a confidence in your intuition, having a confidence in your decision making, having a fulfillment, finding joy in simple things, finding joy even in situations that may seem uncomfortable. That's where your true treasure and your wealth is in this realm, in your reality, is what you're able to create from what others deem to be nothingness, or what we've been taught as nothingness, because we've been taught to fixate on physical things, tangible things, but also fleeting senses and emotions. Because after you have that thought, after you buy that bag you've really been wanting, you have it, then what? You're excited about it for how long? And then one day, the newness wears off. That fleeting sense of fulfillment wears off, because it's not real. It's not real. But you're real. The way that you collect data is real. The way that you collect experiences is real. But if you're putting your eye and you're equating your happiness with the attainment of something, I will guarantee you'll never truly be happy. Because you're always going to be searching for the feeling that you equate to happiness. And you remove the thing that gave you the feeling, and you are no longer happy. That means your happiness is conditional. This very falsified reality, this very falsified realm, feeds off of your conditional happiness. Because conditional happiness always leads you back to square one, which is wanting. You're always going to want something else. You're always going to want something more. You're always going to want something different. So you get the bag, you get the bracelet, you get the shoes, you get the house, but you want more. Because it's not just that pair of shoes. It's not just that bracelet. It's not just that ring. Because next year it'll be another thing. Maybe even the next week. It's not just that meal. You eat food, you enjoy it, and it's gone in less than an hour. And it's fleeting. Your happiness can never be and come from conditional places because it's temporary. Make decisions for a treasure bank that isn't fleeting. And that's the investment that we make for ourselves. That's the investment that we make for our mental well-being. That's the investment that we make for our spiritual and emotional wellness. That's the investments that we make for our heart when we live from pure places. Okay? All right. Now I need to get ready for my spa appointment, which is fleeting, but to a certain extent, but it's also for my health because I've been working for months straight and my back, y'all. My neck, my back. Okay. So I'm going to take care of my body for wellness. So I'm going to leave. But there was a lot to think about, right? So share this message if you found that it was beneficial for you. Okay. Or share this message to a person you think that it would be beneficial for. But honestly, I think that means you should share with everyone because I don't think anybody has mastered that feeling or that understanding. And I know that there's a person that could hear the fact that they're not failing, they're just experimenting. Because you're not failing. You're experimenting. Now choose to do something with the information that you've been presented with. Don't dwell in it. Don't wallow in it. Don't be sad for yourself if you're not liking the circumstances or the evidence of that manifestation or whatever it is that you've projected into your reality. But be thankful that you now have evidence to make a decision with. No, make a decision. You're loved.